See, she coughs last time. Now she's drinking water. Hey, my name is Sean Snowday. Welcome to Coach Marketing Mastery. I'm the co-founder of Coach Marketing Mastery here with India Kern. Welcome, India.
Good morning.
I don't know why I welcome you to your own thing. It's so weird. But was that water tasty?
Yes, it was. It's carbonated, so every time I open it, I'll open it in church, it'll go. Sounds
I
like I'm
can't
drinking champagne in church.
see. I can't do carbonated because then I get carbonated in my tum tum,
Yeah,
and that just doesn't work well for me.
I love it.
So I take big gulps as just straight up water.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'd like, and before we jump into this, you're from the beach, I'm from the beach. One of my favorite things, childhood memories, is going surfing
Yeah.
and then coming home and just you got all this salt water in your mouth and you swallowed a bunch of it and you've been beat up by the waves and by the sand. You got sand in your hair.
Yeah.
You're kind of we called it sugar donut, where you just have
Right. Yeah.
and then you just drink a big glass of milk.
Oh, I'm not a
Feel.
milk drinker really, so
But you could drink water the same way, whatever it is. But
yeah.
I was a little kid, when you're
Yeah.
a little kid, you got to have a lot of calcium,
Right.
which has nothing to do with Coach Marketing Mastery, but it does have to do with having fun, surfing, dropping into the 6-foot wave to the glory of the Lord, which life is all about. Okay, so we're going to go over the 5 critical mistakes to avoid when selling your coaching services.
Right.
Before we go into that, you want to kind of give a not a preamble, but you want to preempt us with what those 5 things are?
Well, how about we start with just number one, because I don't have all 5 in front of me, but I can start with number one, and it is the vague value proposition.
Right.
So I like to compare it to, like, say you went into a restaurant and they said, they hand you the menu and it just says food. You're like, well, what kind of food?
Right.
Is it Italian? Is it Mediterranean is Italian, but is it Greek? What is it? So you want to have, you want to niche down really. And oftentimes we think that, say you're a coach and you only serve women, like you coach women. Many times the idea is, oh, if I niche down to only do women over 45 who are menopausal and I'm a nutrition coach, we think we're going to miss out, but actually you don't. I even did it where I was at first, when I was starting as a divorce coach, I specialized in women. And what it does is it makes the other people kind of curious, like, do you coach men too? And I'm like, well, yeah, I do, but that's your specialization. So I think it's critical that you do have you niche down, you have some specificity. Is that the word? You're specific about your service. What do you think?
So I'm going to share our screen real quick since you
Okay.
jumped right into it. So this is India. Get in the way of me at all times. Every picture she's jumping, going more about me, less about Sean. So anyhow, these are the 5 critical mistakes to avoid when selling your coaching services. So we're talking about the value proposition. So you have your brand, your experience, your product. You have all these things, and
Right.
your value is going to come from that, right? So what India was saying is, if you go into a restaurant, then if you just say, hey, we serve food, right? Well, then if I was to go online and find some website that said food, come eat food
Yeah.
here, I'd probably click away. Why? Because I'm a burrito guy. Many people don't know this, but I'm a burritologist. And I got my degree in burritology, my PhD, back in the
Mhm.
90s. And what it is, I eat tasty burritos. So that being said, if we're to think about a brand, right? Like, what is a brand of
Think about
burritos?
Apple.
Apple burritos?
No, I was thinking, when you said think of a brand, I thought Apple.
Okay. So let's think of a brand. So what is a brand? Apple. Okay.
Apple.
What is their product?
So they have a menu. If you go to their website, it's not just. What if they said, "Oh, we just do
Electronics.
technology"?
Right.
That would be
Electronics.
crazy.
Right. And so the thing is they have their products, and then it's like, how would you like to have 1,000 songs in your pocket, right?
Mm-hmm. So you
So
have
you're gonna
go ahead.
Yeah, well, you have your product, and then you have the experience, right? Like one of the things about like the iPod was I don't know if you remember having the Walkman, but it
Mm-hmm.
was like this big
Yep.
old, you could have one tape, and
Right.
then of course it was going to be Rat Out of the Cellar, right? Because we all are hair metal, or is it just me? Right? So you just have this tape that you listen to day in, day out, day in, day out. Motley
Right.
Crue's first album. But then you're just listening to that all day if you're going on a bike ride. So the experience with the iPod was I can listen to all these different albums, right?
Mhm.
All these different songs. I don't even have to listen to the entire album. I can listen to Madonna and then Prince. I'm showing my age. Katy Perry. I don't know who's new. Ghost or whatever. I don't know who the new bands are now.
Yeah.
And your value proposition is within all that,
Right.
right?
So they have
So
a menu of services and products, because not only do they sell products, they sell services, they sell software, they sell really like the Genius Bar. I know that's not for sale, but it's there to help you. So there's a menu of products, and so it's so critical to have the menu, or people don't know what to do. Basically, you're descrambling their brain. You're like, we do 1, 2, or 3. Which do you want?
yeah. And one of the things is with membership sites or what we do, most people that do coaching or even like personal training or whatever it is, when it comes to training, you might be a train the trainer, whatever you do,
Mm-hmm.
maybe at the corporate level. The product could be bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and the experience is going to be different. So in the bronze, we have a bronze. It's Coach Marketing Masterclass. That's for free for the first 2 visits. It's on Friday at 10 o'clock. But then the experience is not going to be the same experience with our silver, gold, and platinum.
Mm-hmm.
So the experience is going to be different, but that value proposition is going to be within all of that. So let's step to the next one. And this is probably the most important one. This is the one that drives me nuts when I talk to some people, is the one size fits all approach. So what does that mean?
So
And
I
how
have
do
a
we?
great example. I made this mistake early in my coaching business. So the one size fits all, I made a group coaching for divorces, but I didn't specialize. What stage of the divorce is it? Is it pre-divorce? Is it mid-divorce? Or is it 5 years post-divorce? Well, so what I got was exactly that. I got people that were in the beginning and they were in so much pain. And then I also got a person that was 5 years out that could not stand listening to this all the time, because they had already moved through that. So they had gone through that grief process, and they're just like, oh my gosh, I can't listen to it anymore. So I learned a valuable lesson, and it could be viewed as a failure, but honestly, it was the best lesson for me, that when I do a group program, I have to be so specific about who I'm targeting, because I can't just say divorce coaching. That was the biggest mistake. And so I learned the hard way that that one size does not fit all, does not fit all.
Right. And that's the thing with me is I'm in certain coaching. So I believe in coaching and I pay for coaching, and I'm in a coaching I'd say membership right now,
Mm-hmm.
where they're really elite coaches. These are real businesses. They're multiple 6-digit, 7-digit coaches, and then there's another one which is the level right before this. And when I go in that group of people, I just kind of feel like I'm the shark in the guppy pond. I'm like, you know what, you guys, you haven't even grown your fins yet. And so I just don't want to be around there. And so when people do this, then the people that are really going to probably bring a lot of value to their business, they go away because
Right.
they're in the wrong place.
Right.
Because it's just like I was talking basketball with you, but I always talk volleyball because I'm from Hermosa Beach, and we have the volleyball, the open out there every year. And these guys are 7 feet tall. They're these big, lanky, 7 feet tall. They're the coolest people at the beach when they show up. But I'm like, nah, dude, you're not local, so split. But anyhow, that's just my own problem. But these guys, the guys that are normal volleyball players the whole year round in Hermosa, when these pros come in,
Yeah. They don't have
they're
a
like, yeah, and they just can't even get on the court. They're
Right.
not welcome, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
You know who you're talking to. Exactly.
this is another one. And what is this? I've never heard that before. What does it say?
Ignoring the client journey. Is that what we're talking about?
No, are you looking at the screen?
What does it say?
Am I not sharing my screen?
You're not sharing your screen. Nope. All I see is you and me.
Oh, okay. I got to click this button.
Okay. Yes. So exactly. So Sean always says this. Actually, this is his saying. I don't know where you got it or if you made it up. It's great. Don't put a hippie on a military base. Meaning, don't do what I did and speak generally to I do divorce coaching. Actually, niche it down to who exactly. Does that mean the beginners, the ones facing divorce, or does that mean the ones that are post divorce and just still have a little bit of pain to work out? So just know who you're talking to. Don't go on LinkedIn and do silly videos that would go better on Instagram. It goes across the board, not just it goes across how you post, right? Who are you talking to?
And I always tell my story. I was at a speaker meeting one time, and this person kept telling everybody the reason she fits is because this, and she also fits because this. But everything she was saying to the group of people was making her not fit. So the way I would say this in not an anonymous way would be someone that's heavy metal, right? You got your spikes, you got your leather, right? But you're in front of a bunch of punk rockers and you're saying, the reason I'm a punk rocker is because I listen to Judas Priest. And they're like, no, dude, there's nothing punk about that. So even though you may think you're fit, that you don't. So when you bring people on board and you don't qualify them first before they come on board, then you have a big mess, right?
Right.
And I think we've all been down that road. But if you haven't been down that road yet, you usually do hook up with a couple people. And then also this will fit with pricing too. Which we're going to get into, but if your prices are too low, you're going to bring in the dramatic people that really don't value you because you're not charging enough money. Right. This is a really important one for me, ignoring the client journey. So what when it comes to like all of this whole client journey, there's also the hero's journey, but the 5 stages of the customer journey that we have right here is really kind of like
dating.
Yeah, it's like dating. I didn't want to say that, but go ahead. How would you say that?
Well, I want to use an example. Okay, this is a story, but I promise you, it does pertain to this. So my husband and he didn't marry. I'm his first marriage, and he married at 52. So he did a lot of dating, and he had this rule that the first date was always a 20 to 30-minute at most coffee, so that he could, like, if it didn't go well, he could leave. So, the first thing you do when you talk to a client is maybe offer them something like a freebie, right? So that would be like talking to your potential girlfriend. You're interested. Let's have a phone call.
Yeah.
And then once you talk to him on the phone, you're like, okay, well, maybe we should meet for coffee. But you make it not a big commitment, right? So that might be, hey, here's the lead magnet. Here's the freebie. Take it. Give me your email, and then we'll go from there. And so, he first wanted to check it out, like our clients. You first,
but there's also so there's going to be, before that, there's going to be the turning a glance into the stare, like being out in social media, on the internet. Because remember,
right,
we're digital marketers. We do coach marketing. Mastery is for people that are on the internet not people that are going to the farmer's market, right? And
Right.
trying to get people there. But at the farmer's market, you could do magic tricks, whatever. But it's the awareness is the first stage.
Right.
So when you see that girl, you get that eye contact. The thing is that,
and you get the phone number, like the email, right?
yeah,
Possibly?
yeah, you get the phone number. I asked this girl for her number one time, and she said it's 7. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, well, I'll give you the other 9 later. But anyhow, it's a little joke.
But
7. But the deal is the awareness and just are you okay? I'll give you a great example. I don't wear collared shirts or eat collard greens. India does both. And we were talking before this podcast because I'm wearing this certain shirt and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I want to wear a shirt. I wear t-shirts and I wear hats. That's what I do. And that's what's going to be attractive. If I start dressing like wearing a suit or, put on a big red hat with a big feather coming out of it and some pirate outfit, there's influencers that do that, but I would not be authentic, and I won't be authentic in a collared shirt. I could do it, but it's not who I am.
Yeah.
So it's that awareness that a girl that wants to look at me is going to want a guy in a t-shirt and a hat, right? Not the Stevie Ray Vaughan looking dude, right? So once you got the awareness, then the consideration, that's also the conversion part. So I want you to notice on this slide, it has the handshake and it also has a $sign. So converting is not always monetizing. It can be simply someone converting would be meeting at the coffee shop. There's no money exchanged, but it could be setting an appointment, right? Opting into your website, downloading your lead magnet. They're considering working with you, setting an appointment on your Calendly or whatever calendar type of work you have. Then there's the purchase. So sometimes the consideration is a purchase. Maybe they have to pay money to set an appointment with you, or they set the appointment with you and then the purchase is on the appointment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think also, I like in dating, you don't just go for marriage. So maybe at the beginning, you start with something small, like a $7 product, or maybe your PDF is $7, and then you like what like I like what Sean's saying in a $7 PDF, so I'm going to see what else is out there. Oh, maybe I'll join the master class, and it goes up a level, and then I really like what I learned. It's so valuable. I think I might do the group coaching. So that's the setup, and it's very similar to dating.
And one of the things they don't have here in the purchase is the fulfillment, which is the most important thing. We had Brad Martineau on the Automated Marketing Summit, and the guy knocked it out of the ballpark. But fulfillment is really important. So let's just say you're a personal trainer and someone hires you, right? Well, you don't want to just go and say, hey, I showed up. We're going to do some jumping jacks. We're going to do some sit-ups. Here, eat this protein bar. I'll see you next week. If you follow up with an email, like right when they become a client, hey, welcome. Here's some things, read this little thing. This is what's going to happen week 1. Then week 2 could say, drink a lot of water. Why you want to stay hydrated, right? Because you're a personal trainer. Now, these are the little things that are happening in between the appointment. The fulfillment is really important, right? And then on week 3, you might say something to the effect of how to not hurt yourself. That's my main thing. Every time I go to the gym, I hurt myself because I think I'm, 21 again, and I'm not. And so then there's going to be the fulfillment. It's not really in here, but it's kind of that circle around the little person at the purchase point. Then the retention. So the fulfillment is also part of the retention, which is keeping people on board. So I'll tell you a couple of tips and tricks about retention, but what are your views on retention, India?
Well, what are my views? As long
Not
as
like
you're
I can
adding
hear you.
value.
By the way, everyone, that's India's dog. That's not me.
Yeah. My dog's snoring at my feet. He's my coworker. Retention. So as long as you're adding value and they're getting something out of it, they're going to stick with you, you know? So that's where the retention comes in. And then they become your greatest fan, and they'll write a review of you that shoots you to the top of Google. So that's the advocacy.
Right. So, but when it comes to the retention, this is really important. So getting your pen and paper, because this is going to be probably one of the most important things I say about the customer journey. You need to know why they came into your program. What are they expecting? Right. And if you have some type of CRM, you want to write that into CRM for that contact. So let's say you're a personal trainer once again, and someone signs up and they say, you're like, why are you signing up? Well, I don't want to huff and puff when I get to the top of stairs. I want to play with my grandchildren, right? Then when you're retaining them as a client, they say, okay, I don't want to be a client anymore. Then you say, okay, great. Can you get to the top of the stairs without huffing and puffing? And they're like, well, no. Okay, well, how's playing with your grandchildren? I said this last week in a podcast, and they're saying, oh, well, I play with them while I'm laying on the couch and drinking a milkshake that I'm dipping my fries in. Have you ever seen someone dip their fries in milkshake? Okay, I'm sure there's people listening to this that do that. I just found it kind of weird. Okay, but my point is, if you don't have their why, all you could say was benefit of my program, which they're like, I don't care. But if you say your why was this and you didn't get your why yet, I'm trying to help you get to your why, that's going to retain them better than anything else. Most important thing, which takes us into advocacy. And advocacy, you can look this thing up called the Net Promoter Score. It's NPS, Net Promoter Score, and that'll tell you a little bit about advocacy. India has a lot of testimonials. So if you Google San Diego divorce coach, India is going to come to the top because of all of the testimonials. What was that?
I said, yay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how you did that.
Well, you know,
Get the testimonials.
I just flat out ask my clients when they're happy with my results. I'm like, would you be willing to would you do me a favor? And they are awesome. And they said yes. So, you know, that's how I got it, because they liked the results they were getting.
Yeah. And it was so funny. This lady in our group said, you know, I was talking with a client and they never, I didn't give them my offer because they never asked the prices. And they're like, okay, they don't need to ask what the prices are. You just tell them, hey, and I have a special program that's specifically for you. Would you like to hear about it? Yes. Okay. I'll go over the various back to the value proposition. I'll go over the products or services that we have and see which is the best for you. Okay. Then they say yes. So you ask for their permission twice, right? So once you get them, also the other great thing about advocacy, if you're a corporate coach, if you coach executives, then one of the things, say you have a top executive that, you know, he's looking out the corner office, you know, at the view of the lake, beautiful view, top of, you know, he's made it or she's made it to the top of the corporate ladder at the company they're in. And they've been there years and you've been coaching them. And they've even referred to a few other executives in that company. Well, if that executive gets recruited to another company, you can get referred to the executives that's taken their place. And if you've built a good rapport with the executive that you'd worked with for years, when they move to the new company and you're coaching them there, then there's a whole new list of new executives that they can refer you to once they build the trust and the likability at their new company. Okay. So there's many ways that you can get referred. You just got to keep your eyes and ears wide open. This is the one that messes me up. It's overpricing, underpricing. I think everybody does it. I'm the underpricing guy.
Yeah, I've definitely been there. I've noticed that when there's no skin in the game, that especially if it's a free product, like say it's a free workshop, people don't feel the need to even show up. So even if it's just a small investment like $7, they will find it, they will feel like it's more valuable. I don't know about you, and I know Sharon doesn't drink, but if I'm at the store and I'm looking for wine and I don't really know which one to choose, and I have two bottles in front of me, and one, I always go with the more expensive one because I think, oh, this has got to be better. I'm not saying go jack your prices up, but there is something to be said about not underpricing your service.
Yeah. There's also, people put a lot of value also on packaging. If you watch Shark Tank, they're
Mhm.
always saying, like, I don't get your packaging. I raised a little boy back in the 90s, and he would not eat the cheap, Fruit Loops, blue stripe brand Fruit Loops.
Right.
So we bought a box of Fruit Loops, and he loved them. And then we would buy the big bag, that big bag that, like, you literally got to put it in the cellar. It's such a big, huge bag of Fruit Loops.
Mhm.
And then we would just pour those in the box of Fruit Loops. And then we'd give him because we were struggling back then. We were in our early 20s.
Yeah.
So the thing is that in he perceived this as a high value cereal when we knew it was shenanigans. But I'm not saying do that in your business. I'm
Right.
just talking about branding. But when it comes to underpricing and overpricing, a lot of times the underpricing, you're going to bring in the worst clients. And just take this from me and my experience. Now, not everyone has been the worst clients when I underpriced, but I had one client that, and I'm pretty smart when it comes to, I was a Microsoft engineer, represented Microsoft for 30 years. There was a client that I had, and we're online with the hosting company of this website, and I'm telling the client something, and she's asking the front desk girl for the answer after I had just told her, the client, this is the answer. So she asked literally a girl that answers phone at the front desk, well, what do you think? Because we're on hold. I can't remember what was going on. And she was the worst client. She was literally the worst client. And they thought I was the worst. I was basically like their CTO. They thought I was the worst because they weren't paying me enough. So they didn't value what I had to say. So they wouldn't listen what I had to say.
And there's also something to be said for you. Like if you undercharge, you don't feel good about it. So when you are actually charging what you're worth, you have pride and you bring a different attitude, and it makes, you bring joy to your work. But if you're not getting what you feel your value at, then it hurts you too. So it goes both ways.
There's another thing. So there's a really fine line between underpricing and overpricing. So again, with the overpricing, it can be like there's people out there charging a lot of money, right? And then people come into their program, their highly expensive program, and then they're like, this wasn't even worth it.
Right.
And then they go out on the internet and complain, and now you just ruined your brand.
Exactly.
Now there's specific ways to do brand, such as like with the Rolls Royce, the Rolls Royce Ghost. So that carriage is on a BMW frame, right? So you could just buy the BMW, okay, and you're not going to have the hand stitched leather or the custom, you're not going to have all the what do they call them? But inside there's special things within there that make it really luxurious, but it's going to ride the same, and that's but that's just putting whipped cream on top of the pumpkin pie. So it's really going to be a fine line here. And the coaching program I'm in, people are always saying, what should I charge? And the coach is always saying, I don't know, test it. right?
Yeah, that's good.
So now the lack of proof and social proof. This is pretty much, the lack of proof is going to be testimonials and getting the clients, and then the social proof. So how would you explain this one? Because I have a different way of looking at it.
Well, I think of when I'm buying something, a product on Amazon, the first thing I do is I go to the reviews to see if it's worth the money or if they're finding it, if they have any problems with it. So it's no different than if you're hiring a coach and you go look to see what other people are saying, if they have testimonials, proof that other people found them to be a good coach. So that's what my take is on it. What about you?
Yeah. So when it comes to the lack of proof, a lot of people are like, how do I get testimonials? Well, if you join a collaborative, I'm in a collaborative of investors and of digital marketers. And I can say that as a partner with this company, I've worked with these big, huge corporations because, in a sense, as a partner of the company, that company has worked with them. So, therefore, as a partner, I could say I've worked with them. So it's not lying. It's not. It's not.
Right.
It's not. It's kind of lying by omission, I would say, because I didn't work with them directly, but the company did, right? So there's always these ways. And another way that you can get some testimonials if you're a new coach is your sphere of influence. We can go in that later, or you can go to Coach Marketing Masterclass,
Mhm.
and you could actually join. I'll bring out some of my older videos that I made during the pandemic, and it's how to go through your sphere of influence. So I'm going to tell you in a nutshell right now. If you're a new coach, call 5 of your friends, tell them, hey, I'm a coach, I want to coach you. All I want is a half hour. I want your honest
Feedback.
feedback and testimonial at the end, and then
Right.
you'll have some testimonials. And I'm going to tell you, it's when I started life coaching, and I don't do this anymore, this is a long time ago. I went on the internet and I downloaded something like the top 50 powerful life coaching questions, and I printed it out, and I had my friend's ex-wife, so their daughter was we were trying to get their daughter into a treatment center, so I kind of had to coach the husband, my friend, and his ex-wife. So I printed out the top 50 most powerful coaching questions. And I literally, she'd come over to my house, she'd sit on the sofa, and I would just look at the piece of paper and I'd ask her a question on that, and she would answer it. And then whatever her answer was led to the next question. So I just find out of the 50 questions the next question to ask. She came back for like months. I mean, it was free counseling for her,
Right.
but for me, it was getting me to where I got these testimonials. She became one of my biggest fans.
Yeah.
Her and this girl named Lisa, both we did a lot of work, and then I don't know why I work with a lot more women than men back there with the spiritual work, because women are more spiritual than men, so it's always easier to get someone that has an open mind and an open heart when it comes to like group coaching.
Right.
Uh,
Another idea is you can get your colleagues. So if you've had a good experience, or if they've had a good experience with you, they can also give you a review. It
yeah,
doesn't
and
have to just be your clients. It could actually be your fellow attendee in a masterclass who finds what you're saying to be valuable to them. I mean, you can be creative with this when you're getting started.
right. I was saying if you're new,
Yeah,
and
yeah, of
you're
course.
not in a collaborative,
Right, right,
you get like you just said, oh, I want to be a life coach, and then you came to our class
right, of
and you
course.
don't have anything. Just go to your first 5, 10 best friends, and then say this: I want to coach you. I'm really scared, and let's do this. And then just go on Google and download the top 5 most powerful life coaching, questions. They're gonna be out there. There's gonna be thousands of them. All right. I
All
think
right.
that's the end.
That is the end. What do we have coming up this week?
So this weekend, I don't know. You're the one that
So we have
guides
masterclass on Friday, every Friday.
So we have a Coach Marketing Masterclass every Friday. Just go to coachmarketingmasterclass.com
Right.
to sign up. But India is the one that brings up the topics.
Right.
And the topic is usually based on
Today.
the what the podcast that we do on Mondays. Now this was really, we went really in detail here. We could either deep dive in this, but we could really go deeper into getting your first 10 clients. If you already have your first 10 clients, how to fulfill them, and like an onboarding process. If you already have an onboarding process, then we're going to show you how to retain them. And then if you're already retaining them, we're going to show you how to get referrals. And if you're already getting referrals, then you're going to want to come to Coach Marketing Mastery, to where you really learn how to put steroids on everything we just said. Okay?
Yep, that sounds good. So that's
All right.
10 o'clock on Friday, 10 o'clock Pacific time, every Friday. So
Right.
again, go to coachmarketingmasterclass.com to register, and we'll see you there.
Okay. Thanks, India.
Thank you.